So tonight we're going to talk about the fallopian tube. What is the fallopian tube? There are these two dangly things off the uterus that extend from the uterus to the inside of the pelvic in the pelvic cavity and open up right around the ovary. Hope you can see that, right? And they're very small, well, skinny. They're about 10 to 14 centimeters in length, and they are rubbery, smooth muscular type structures that actually have what is called the fimbriated end. It's this shaggy little end that has hair-like structures meant to sweep over the ovary and pick up eggs. And inside also, they have this what is called cilia. They're like tiny, tiny hair-like structures at the top of some of the cells, not all, some of the cells, and they beat in a fashion that moves towards the direction of the cavity. And also mixed with these types of cells are special cells that also secrete certain substances that, sort of lubricate the way for whatever the tube is carrying. Now, what does the tube do? What is its job? The tube is meant to pick up any egg that's released from the ovary, goes into the tube, and then propels this egg towards the direction of the uterus. And hopefully, sperm coming from inside the cavity goes into this tube. They're independently swimming and can come in contact with the egg where they fertilize the egg. Now, the important thing is the fallopian tube is needed to pick up the egg from as it's being released from the surface of the ovary. In addition, once you've fertilized the egg and it becomes an embryo, the muscular movement of the tube helps to move the embryo towards the direction of the cavity. Now, if this tube is harmed in any way, such as by infection, and it blows up like this big old tube over here, it's not a balloon. It doesn't shrink. Done is done. Once it blows up and it becomes what is called a hydrosalpinx, it's not going to go back. And that's one of the questions that people ask me a lot. Can it be open? Can it be fixed? Can you try to reduce the size? Can you suck off the fluid? You can't, it doesn't go back. You can only correct a tube that's not blown up. So sometimes you'll have scarring inside the tube, but the tube itself is not blown up. So you can do a little roto-rooter and kind of clean up that scar tissue in there and open it up, if you will. And maybe that tube might be functional. The tube on the inside also has folds. They're called Rugel folds. And that those folds are important for its proper functioning. So if you look under an HSG, which is a dye study you can do to see if the tubes are open, you can see those Rugel folds, right? But a destroyed tube has the folds compressed, flattened out, taken out of the equation, and the hair-like structures at the top of those cells are smushed down, they're destroyed. The smooth muscle is blown up. If you will, you ever see those long tubular balloons that you can blow up for parties? Imagine your tube blowing up like that. That tube is damaged. It's just going to accumulate fluid. And sometimes the fluid accumulated can leak into the cavity and will decrease your pregnancy rate, decrease your chance of a successful treatment. So once it's damaged, it's not going to go back. Done is done. So you can either sort of occlude it so that the fluid inside doesn't leak into the cavity, or you can have that tube completely removed, but it doesn't go back. If it's destroyed, it's destroyed. What can destroy it? Infection, chlamydia. Someone likened that to sort of murder on the Orient. It could also destroy itself, like suicide, right? So you have inflammation that sort of attacks itself, all right? And that would also cause a similar scarring of the inside of the tube, inflammatory process. So done is done. And I hope you see some of the pictures that indicate what this looks like. So if it's that way, it needs to be treated.